did have scouts. There's also another person from history that was with Braddock. He was a 20-year-old mule skinner that was with his wagon train that was making up the rear. A little guy by the name of Daniel Boone. Yeah, I did see quite a few red and yellow. Now in the actual, they were marching in formation, like I said, and once they had crossed most of the forces across Turtle Creek, just south of Pittsburgh, is when they got hit. They're just walking cautiously right now. Now again, the British lines, after they were initially engaged, they tried to fight in a European-style war using line tactics, where the French were fighting in what I had already described as au sauvage. Being real cautious right now. Now the infantrymen that you see in the red and yellow is a grenadier. They liked them big. They were usually the shock troops. That was a volley by the French. And they're going to single fire back. Because of our little lower numbers, this is not really being fought as it was back then. French traditionally, when they hit you, they would hit you with 1 or 2 volleys, and then they would split up. And one of the tactics of the French during their au sauvage type fighting is you never stood in the same place twice. You would shoot, reload as you were running, and then shoot again, and move to another spot, reloading while you're running. Another advantage that the French had is Their weapons were a little bit more accurate than the Brown Besses used by the British. But the British caliber was much bigger. British used 75 caliber, where the French used 62 caliber, which is about the 20 gauge shotgun size. All right, neither side's moving yet. Now you notice the Marines there are in white. White and blue was the standard color for French Marines. British used mostly red. You also notice I got red on, but I'm French artillery. All right, I see the French are spreading out. They're going to try to flank them. Now the weapons back then, like I said, the British used 75 caliber. It was a round ball in a cartridge with powder behind it. They didn't have rifles, so they didn't bother using patches or anything like that. The powder cartridge itself would act as the wadding. Both sides were issued their cartridges, and they would keep them in a cartridge box. The French had a 9 cartridge box that they used for what they called garrison, and a 32 cartridge box for when they went out in the field. The French were also equipped with tomahawks. As you can see, the French are trying to surround them. And it looks like they're going to. Now what you've seen him do is he's checking to make sure that he was dead. If he wasn't, he was going to finish the job. That's why he had his war club out.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's down to 1. Getting real thin on the British lines there. Now the British never really had a chance to fully deploy all their men. The only ones that were able to engage were the ones that had already crossed Turtle Creek. They did bring up artillery, but it wasn't enough. Because they could never really get it in place to be of any use. The British were carrying large 6-pounders. They're not real good in the woods. French very rarely used cannon in any type of a woods combat. And right now, it's looking like there's no more British troops left. Now, how can you tell an officer from an enlisted? Well, on the French side, captain was the highest that a Marine could ever go. The only way you can tell he was an officer is you'll see gold braid along his inner vest and a small vestige from medieval days, a small gorget. It was non-functional, but it was a mark of an officer. The only way you could tell a sergeant is he had gold on the outside of his outer clothes. And a corporal had a yellow band along his cuff. Standard issue, like I said, for all Marines were a bayonet and a tomahawk. And right now, they're congratulating themselves. Vive le roi is hail the king. Okay, in a second here, all the dead should arise. No, they're not going to be zombies. Does anybody have any questions? I know down in the end you probably didn't hear anything I was saying.
What time of the year did this actually take place? Spring, summer, fall?
I'm trying to remember what month it was.
Wasn't it fall?
You know, I'm not really sure. I would have brushed up if I would have known I was going to be doing this. But I got pressed in the turbines after the bullhorn didn't work.
And you did fine.
What year for the Centennial War?
It lasted, the 7 Years' War lasted 11 years. It went from 1753 to 1762. Now, in Europe, it only lasted 7 years. And